Kansas Senator Roger Marshall to the program. Good morning to you, Senator. So I'd like to begin by playing a clip of President Biden back in 1989 with his thoughts on what should be done to combat narco-terrorism. Take a listen.
Let's go after the drug lords where they live with an international strike force. There must be no safe haven for these narco-terrorists, and they must know it.
It's interesting. So another example, Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy tweeting this message back in 2019, saying in part, if Trump cared about consistency, he would make the case for intervention in Venezuela. Getting rid of Maduro is good for the U.S. That didn't age well, Senator. What do you make of this? And now what we're hearing from Democrats who are all against what happened over the weekend.
Well, Charlie, Mark, first of all, Happy New Year to you and all your viewers. This is hypocrisy. This is, you could add Chuck Schumer to that list of people who called for stronger action against Venezuela. We gave them what they want. And this is just, part of the Trumpitis, probably, just one more part of their psychosis, that they're totally separated from reality. But regardless of what they're saying, at the end of the day, American families are safer. And I think it's real important now we talk about what our goals are here. Sometimes when it's a murky what's next, I think we talked about our goals. I think our number one goal, and President Trump is calling the shots here, but our number one goal is to stop the flow of drugs, restart the flow of oil, and then let's implement the new Donroe structure here, the Donroe doctrine, where we don't want China in Venezuela, we don't want China in the Panama Canal, we don't want China building a naval base off the coast of Cuba. So those are our goals here, and it's a day-to-day basis, very fluid, but President Trump is calling the shots.
Yeah,
Senator, to your point, if you're sitting there, if you're the Ayatollah in Iran, if you are the leader of Mexico, of Colombia, of Cuba, and you think back to go, don't tempt him, don't dare him, don't say he can't do something, because he'll say, hold my Diet Coke, and then go do it.
Yeah, no doubt. If I were those people, I wouldn't use the same bathroom twice. I wouldn't sleep in the same house two nights in a row. Kind of like Santa Claus. We know where you're naughty and nice, where you're sleeping, all those types of things. We know those things now. But to your point here, Venezuela is part of this evil axis of Iran and North Korea and China and Russia. We don't want them in the Americas. The Donroe Doctrine is the updated Monroe Doctrine. It's America first. I'm an unapologetically America first senator from the great state of Kansas. Let's do what's in the best interest of Americans for once. Let's kick China out of our hemisphere.
So, Senator, you're also a doctor as well. So I would like to get your thoughts on Health Secretary RFK Jr. scaling back the recommended childhood vaccines. Health officials now suggesting kids be routinely vaccinated against 11 diseases instead of the original 17. That's a drastic difference. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I think this is a great step in the right direction, most importantly, to restore the trust of the American people in the CDC. To your point, we did have 17 different viruses that we were vaccinating against. We've decreased that to 11. And ultimately restoring the sanctity of the doctor-patient relationship. Look, these vaccines are a medicine of sorts, and just like you wouldn't start a new medicine without talking to your doctor about the pros and cons, the risks and benefits, I think that vaccines serve that same level of discussion with your own doctor. So let's put this back in the hands of your good doctor and patients. I have faith in Americans that they'll make the right decision, what's best for their child.
Yeah, so real quickly, I'm a parent and a grandparent, and if I don't understand it, no longer is it just required, ask the question and let your doctor tell you what's right for your child or grandchild.
It is absolutely that simple. They kind of divided these vaccines into 3 buckets. One of the ones these are the ones we think every American should have. And I don't necessarily agree with that list, but we'll come back and talk about that another day. And then they have a list that if you have high risk, like if you have exposure to someone in your family with hepatitis, you need the hepatitis vaccine. And then there's the ones like the flu vaccine that, I think that it kind of depends on the situation. So again, let's restore the sanctity of the doctor-patient relationship.
All right, good stuff. Kansas Senator Roger Marshall, thank you for joining us this morning.
Great to see you.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.